Rules and Legislative Committee. Everyone's present except Commissioner Anita Epperson. She's sick, and so she's staying home. Now it's time for prayer. Let's pray. Our Father, who art the hope of all the earth, remember us in love and guide us by thy wisdom. We ask thee to grant blessings upon thy servants, our community leaders, our county mayor, our commissioners, the city mayor, and councilmen. Bless us with the spirit of wisdom, goodness, and truth. May law and order, justice, and peace prevail. Defend our liberties, preserve our unity, and guide our community. To the honor of thy holy name, amen. The first item is approval of January 17th, 2023 Rules and Legislative Committee minutes. Moved. Second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? The second item is consideration of placing the January 24th, 2023 Special Call Commission minutes on the March 14th, 2023 County Commission agenda.
Make a motion to send to the commission without a recommendation.
Second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? The next item is consideration of placing the February 14th, 2023 Commission minutes on the March 14th, 2023 County Commission agenda.
So moved.
Second. Okay, there's motion second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? The next item is consideration of placing notary applicants on the March 14th, 2023 County Commission agenda as requested by County Clerk Donna Thomas.
Move to approve.
Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, next is Veterans Department. The Veterans Report is in our packet. I believe there were 51 veterans that were transported to the VA hospitals, and 53 came by the office to speak to our officer, which, and then I think, Mike, would you bring us up to date on what's going on in the office?
Sure. Right now, the average age of our veteran in this county is 73 years old, which means that we have many of them who are unable to come to the office. So what we needed was ability to remotely go to their place and take care of it from there. The other thing is we have different conferences that we go to. I'm also a state DSO, so we need to set that up there for veterans as well throughout the state. So right now I'm working with the IT department, and I just got approved by Robert on the funds to move them back and forth, so it's not going to cost the county anything. It's just going to come out of our own budget for this fiscal year, and we'll be able to handle that. And now we'll be able to remotely go and take care of these veterans that need it, that cannot come here.
So you need a laptop, that's what you're saying, or two?
Laptop and
just remote access into the network.
Okay, into the network now, okay. So you just need one?
just one. We have one already, and then IT is going to come down and convert the other one. And then we'll have the ability also to scan documents and everything else. So,
Good.
Great.
thank you.
Is there any questions for Mr. Rose? Any other discussion? Okay. Thank you. It's a motion to approve the report.
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Relative reports are for our own information, but the next one is the community clinic report. I believe there were 98 total patients that were looked at under medical. And as I've already mentioned, they're giving free lung scans and mammograms, and of course a dental clinic is also a very valuable asset, and 32 patients were served in January.
And Mr. Chairman, I think Lisa Carden has now taken over that, I believe.
Correct.
And she'll be our kind of a point person for us there on things.
Okay.
I know Rita's still there, but Lisa's kind of helping out.
Rita's doing the medical.
Okay. And Lisa will be doing the dental side of it for us.
Okay.
Very capable person.
Well, good. They do provide a
Yes,
very
they do.
important service for our community. Okay, next one is, Ag Center report. You want to bring us up to, I think y'all met in January, didn't you?
We did have a meeting. I do want to thank a dear friend of mine, Detective Sergeant Sam Jacobs, Shelby Police Department will be retiring March 1st. He's also going to retire from the Ag Board. But I would like to, I know Sheriff's worked with Sam all them years too. It's just really good guy. We're going to miss him at the Ag Board, and we'll miss him at the Shelby Police Department too. He's a super good individual. I just wanted to thank him for his service to the Bedford County Ag Center, and we will be looking for a replacement for him on the Ag Board.
Okay. I noticed when I was reading the minutes that I think it's still at 22, so you might want to.
Get through that, yeah.
Yeah, you might.
I get my secretary,
It could be confusing. If you get a few months away, was that this January?
It was this January. We ought to get that changed.
Okay, good. All right. Okay, on the old business, the resolution to amend the zoning resolution of Bedford County, Tennessee has been referred to the planning commission, so there's nothing else to do on that. We passed a moratorium, and they're still working on all these changes and everything else, and I think it's to the betterment of the county. There's a lot of questions and a lot of things that the planning commission is doing. I think they're trying to create a master plan. There's quite a bit of things that go into that has to be studied besides just, of course, the first thing is identifying goals and objectives. But there's a lot of other things that you have to be concerned about, and I think most of the concern on the commission, in particular in the last few months, has been future growth and development. I mean, that's a great concern, and what kind of impact that has on public facilities, whether it's water or sewer or solid waste or fire protection or EMS or roads and traffic or whatever. But all those things needs to be discussed and questioned and debated, and hopefully we can get a comprehensive plan that is suitable for everybody, the people that are building and the citizens of our county as well.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I think there is a community meeting on
March 7th.
March 7th about the master plan
The Red Center.
at the rec center. And I think it's
6 p.m. It's in room 1. I've got it here.
critical
announcements.
based on what you just said.
Yes.
Everything that you just said are critical components as we deal with growth and infrastructure and the crushing growth that we're going to see that's going to cost us a lot of money. And so, Mr. Chairman, you're right on the spot. We need to be on top of this, and we all need to be figuring out how we're going to pay for it, because we're going to pay for it.
And the best thing, it's open to the public. I mean, the public that's absolutely the biggest outcome of this moratorium. It allows the public to have more input, whereas we do things here just in standing committees around the floor of the commission. Sometimes the public is not, they don't have input. They do indirectly to us as their commissioners, but they can't force their opinions, but they can hear. So it is, I had down announcements. It will meet, the planning commission will meet the rec center, the 7th of March at 6 p.m. It's in room 1. I think that Soil and Conservation may be having their banquet at the same time.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure. So there's going to be, somebody's going to make some decisions as to which one you're going to go to, but there is a conflict there.
Yep.
I looked at both of them, and it is what it is. You just have to make a decision. Okay.
One more thing.
Okay.
The FASTA application. College due this month, the end of the month. So please just make a note, get it done as soon as you can, because we need you to go to college and we need you to be in our workforce real soon. Thank you.
Okay. Of course, we had a couple other things. Of course, the Ethics Committee did meet. Tony Smith was elected chair. Commissioner Julie Sanders is secretary. We had a general review of the new ethics model, and then we dismissed. That has met. We've had the organized meeting. If you have any questions, of course, all of us have the amended ethics policy. So that's good. You just need to review it. If you have any questions, hopefully we won't have to meet again unless we're needed. The homeless task force, we had a good meeting there, and we have Commissioner Hooker here. He chaired it, and I thought it was a wonderful thing. We met for about an hour. Do you want to mention some of that?
I apologize for not having minutes. I'll get that.
That's okay.
We
We did identify some different angles, both resource-wise, and we had a lot of constituents here. We had about 20 constituents here. I'm thinking about, I probably took about 15 or 20 calls since then, so I think we're going to have more constituents the next time. So I think this is a particular subject that everybody is well, has a lot of ideas on, and I think it's going to be a very collaborative group. Again, it's been a great partnership between the city and county. Their involvement has been wonderful through this. And so our particular meeting, everybody participated, which I think is, it's always hard sometimes when you get meetings together. But everybody participated. I think it was extremely well received. And again, as we have action items, we'll definitely bring it to this group.
I was impressed as well. I was fortunate to be able to serve on the committee, but it was nice that we had an officer from the city police force, Letitia Diaz, spoke and gave a lot of insight to some of the local problems, and most of them are in the city. And then, of course, our jail person, Lieutenant Chris Cook, was there as well and had some input. He works with these people as well through our jail system. So it was very well conducted. I appreciate you being able to do that, Commissioner Hooker, and I think it was a productive meeting. I agree. When is the next meeting? I do have written down, but you can tell us. Do you have it?
It's going to be March 14th at 5:15 in this room.
Okay, so we do have one. It's the meeting the same day we meet in the general meeting, and we meet in here at 5:15. Okay, good. So we need to get that on our calendars. I do want to thank the mayor's office and Suzanne from last meeting where we were going to have an overflow crowd, and they were able to move us from here into the old courtroom. And I do want to thank them. It's not easily done. You have to move IT people and this and that. Thank all y'all for doing it. And it just had to be done. We had so many people. Our citizens were going to be here, and we needed to have an open area to where we could accommodate as many people as was there. But I do want to thank the mayor's office for that accommodation, because I know it's a headache. Okay, I don't see anything else. Anybody else got any announcements? Okay, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Maddox.
So this is probably the point question for clarity that maybe something that we can discuss. But in regards to contracts, what are the rules in regards to how the commission approves those contracts? Is it every contract that's over a year, or what's the specific rules in regards to?
A lot of that comes out of the budget and finance, and Robert Daniel determines about maybe all of them. I don't know if that's the case, but
We opted under the 1981 Act, which is different than the 57 Act, which other counties work. Under the 81 Act, it consolidates all the finances for the county commission, for the school board, for the roads, and education. It all comes under that 81 Act. It's a consolidation to where the finance director, any contract over a certain amount and over a certain period of time must come through the finance committee. It's different than the 57 Act that other counties work through. So it's a complicated process. So to answer your question in the general term, yes, contracts must go through finance for them to be approved or extended or modified in that degree, as opposed to coming, and then it comes to the general county commission in their meeting there.
Yes, Commissioner Vick, I understand that.
Yeah,
I
okay,
appreciate that
okay.
clarity. But I guess my question is it possible that we can possibly take a look at all contracts that have any sort of fiscal responsibility or any sort of liability the county may take on any sort of liability? Is it possible to take a look at ensuring that the commission votes on all contracts that would have that type of liability on the county? Just a question.
a lot of those things are, yeah.
It's too restrictive.
But I mean, contracts we see the contracts, if they're over a certain amount. So department heads have a certain amount of supervision in that area, and that's their space. And then the 81 Act allows the finance department head to be able to manage those
Right.
contracts. But it does come back to the commission if it involves a certain amount of money and if it's over a certain amount of time. I know that.
Think of it in terms of bankruptcy, as a bankruptcy trustee. And that's basically what you got, is the authority that a bankruptcy trustee has over a bankruptee. Everything has to come to that trustee for it to be budgeted in and then approved to go out. And that's how that's how this 81 Act basically is designed.
So, and I understand, I appreciate that, but I think it's important for us to at least know what that threshold is. I feel a little embarrassed that we as a commission don't understand what that number is or what that timeline looks like. I mean, all of us, including me, right?
Anything over a year has to go before the commission.
And what's the dollar amount?
The dollar amount, I'm not sure.
Thousand? No.
Oh, huh.
I don't remember a dollar amount.
Yeah, we need to get Robert to answer those
You
questions.
can get Robert next for that one, easily. There's a bunch of different numbers.
It sounds right, but I don't know. I'd be afraid to guess.
But I've never been told I couldn't look at something if I had a question. You go to finance or department, they'll have to show it to you.
Commissioner Maddox, if you've got some time, I would set an appointment with Robert Daniel, and he will certainly be able to answer all your questions. I'd get all my notes and write them out, and then I'd go in there and then have him answer them.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yes, sir.
I encourage, as we move into the budget too, to, take notes and if you've got questions, and can't get an answer just from, one of us or something, keep that list and go see Robert. Don't wait till the commission floor, I guess is what I'm saying, because he doesn't have all this data and information there.
Okay, is there any other business to come before the committee? Committee? If there's none, motion to
Move
adjourn.
to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so moved.
All right.
We'll call the Law Enforcement Committee meeting to order. Commissioner Maddox, would you say a prayer for us?
Yes, sir. Let's pray. Dear God, thank you for this opportunity to gather here together, Lord. I pray that you would bless this time. Pray that you would help us to make the decisions that have the positive input packed on this county, Lord, and most of all for your glory. God, I pray that you would be with the citizens of this county, Lord. I pray that you protect them, be with those that are sick and have lost loved ones recently, Lord. I pray that you would touch them. Dear Lord, thank you again for all your many blessings, and it's in your name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Good job.
Thank you. Next is roll call. All is here but Mayor Graham, and he's at a conference. So Next on the agenda will be the approval of the minutes of January 17th, 2023 Law Enforcement Committee.
Make that motion.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we'll move to reports. First up is animal control.
What's your name? Yep. She's from what? Oh, is she? Oh, dear. Welcome aboard. First time I met you.
Does anyone have any questions for animal control? Hearing none, next be the Sheriff's Department report. You do have a copy.
Yeah, I know y'all do. I always like to bring up the fact we drove 56,597 miles in the month of January. And 349 inmates have come through the county jail. On the drug task force, there were 13 I'm talking about January. There was 13 reports of investigations. 18 defendants were identified, 2 firearms and $6,910 in currency were seized from drug defendants. Marijuana, crystal meth, 9,165 doses of controlled prescriptions, which are highly suspected to be fentanyl, were seized. 4 grams of heroin. Some of the people that were involved in these crimes, I think 10 were previously convicted felons, 5 of whom were out on supervised felony parole. 2 defendants were out on bond. So it's like usual, it's a lot of the same ones over and over again, but that's what you have to deal with. This particular case where the 9,165 doses of fentanyl, I'm just going to go ahead and say it because that's what it is even led into another thing in this month. So hopefully, like a opera, I guess, it'll be more next month. That's my report.
Thank you.
Any questions for the sheriff?
Sheriff, just a couple of quick questions. It was brought up in a recent committee meeting about, trash on the side of the road. That's not your responsibility, but it was mentioned that we possibly have a cleanup crew, a detail, utilizing inmate services. Do you have any information on that, or who could I contact if?
Well,
Just curious how it works is all.
Work group.
Yeah, just a work crew. Yeah, just a work crew.
they do. They're out at the workhouse. We still have a workhouse. It's just they're separate, even though they're inside the same facility. And we do have them. They go out daily with city work crews, county work crews. Sometimes maybe Bell Buckle, War Trace, any
Ag
county
Center.
entity that needs them. Our problem is a shortage of workers. Obviously, you can't just let anyone that's in jail out, and you just can't. So it's a constant battle. I will have some of the city work crews call me like, well, why can't we get them? The county gets theirs, and we're not getting ours, and so then I usually call over to the workhouse, and but I mean, sometimes, nothing from nothing leaves nothing.
Yes, sir.
You just don't have enough. Because I think Linda was asking me about some kind of special detail, and she would ask me, could the women go out and do that? But the problem with that, we can't send out men and women together, for obvious reasons.
Yes, sir.
And as far as that goes, all of the ones, when I say ones, I'm talking about with city and county governments that come pick them up are male as well. So we don't have any females that goes out like that. It's all male, but we have them. It's just sometimes we don't have as many as what
Requested.
they need or what they want. We have 1 or 2 that goes to the city police department, and then we tried to keep one of our own to take care of our cars as far as cleaning them up and washing them.
Yes, sir. So it's just a couple, it's not, I'm thinking of a team of people, but it's really not, it's just a few, right? Just a few
Yeah,
folks?
and it varies from time to time. But, you know, I may be wrong about this, but I'm gonna say on average, you probably got 8 to 12,
Yes, sir.
that go out.
Last, my apologies. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, they volunteer to come out, right?
Well, yeah, they don't have to.
They don't have to, so if they wanna come out.
Anytime you have an inmate that's able to get work, get any kind of work detail, whether it's
Right.
inside
Oh,
the facility
facility
or
or
outside, obviously it's benefiting us and it benefits the city. I know probably my second or third year that I was in the office, I think it's one year I figured it up that they saved over $1 million in labor. And I figured that on, I believe, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, at $10 an hour. That was just my own personal thing. But it's good for the prisoners as well, because just to make it simple, if they were serving a year, they possibly could chisel that down to 6 months by going out of place, which is not going to be the case because they don't get to work every day. But if they could, it cuts their time down too, which helps them. And it also helps them get out of jail, and they're not a burden on the taxpayer who's not in jail. Which this is a whole different thing from like the Tysons.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Well, I appreciate you allowing them to do that. I mean, I think we can use all the help we can get right now. The last question I have is in regards to the list of roads that are cleaned up, or, you know, who manages that process, you know, whenever there are folks that are able to assist? Is there a list of, you know, they say, hey, we're going to, you know, wherever, we're going downtown Shelbyville today, tomorrow we'll be down in wherever. Is there a list, or is it just kind of throw a?
And I answer your question, I'm assuming.
Yes,
What
sir.
happens when you assume? But I'm assuming the ones that go with the city is probably through Public Works.
Yes, sir.
Direct.
Or Parks and Rec.
Okay,
Or Parks and Rec, yeah.
okay,
I forgot about them going to the
Park, yeah.
park.
okay,
I'm assuming again, Mark Clatton.
yes, sir.
Diane Ford.
Yes,
All you gotta do is call Diane if you need something special.
Thank you,
and then
Commissioner.
once you check them out, we're responsible for the lunch for them. While they're under, we have to pay for that, if you're taking them out as a person.
Yeah, I know sometimes because I remember when I was. Yeah, and I know when I was chief of police, a lot of times we would have
Okay.
one or two there. that
Okay.
we would furnish, that's kind of a two-way street.
Well, two-way street, yeah, okay.
And Ronald is not here, I'm sure he can maybe give you a little more exact than what I am, but that's what I'm telling you is pretty much.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Sheriff. I appreciate you answering my questions. Sincerely.
Any further questions for the sheriff? Hearing none, we'll move to EMA's report, emergency management.
I don't have anything else to add with what I've got on my report. I will touch on a couple things. We're wrapping up our school intruder drills throughout the county. We have just a handful left. We have rescheduled some of those because of the severe weather that we had last week, which leads me into the next thing. We did open our storm shelters last week for the severe weather. We had 5 or 6 that were open. We had right at 35 feet that utilize those. One of those was right here, facing the courthouse. We usually use First Baptist Church, and they're doing some renovation, so we got a lot of good feedback. Plus, we added people that wasn't part of our code red to get updates when we put those out for severe weather, or for whatever reason we need to put something out for that. They signed up for that, so luckily we didn't have any severe weather. Either side of us did, then we dodged that this time. Building, a lot of people ask me about our most part in. We went from, you've heard me say, we were a pickup and a trailer and they moved. Well, yesterday, we were two big trucks moved, and we got the majority of our stuff in our new building. We have a few more things to clean up, some things to, ends to tie up with some of the things that we have still there. But that is coming along, and we are functioning in our new building. We function out there for the severe weather. So until we can, we're fixing to start moving forward a little bit more with our EOC. Having that done, of course, as you know, we're gonna have that built within our building there. Also, work with the sheriff's department to have a secondary, place to go for EOC. We'll have, secondary power and things like that. So our temporary EOC, we'll be working out there if we have something major within the county.
My compliments to the WLIJ radio. They were on spot constantly.
They have been a partner, for quite a while, I'm not sure
Yes.
how long. But we actually contact them when we think we're going to open storm shelters, and they get somebody out there and start putting that
Exactly.
information on the radio.
Exactly.
We also get that to all the public safety folks. Dispatch 911 gets that, so if somebody does call and say, I want to go to the shelter, they'll have a list of what's open. Not all of our shelters are open every time. We're depending on volunteers to man those, and we appreciate those folks that get out. We try to get them open 45 minutes to an hour before we anticipate the weather being here. That way it gives people some time to get there. A lot of times, we'll keep them 45 minutes to an hour later. They may not like that sometimes, especially the folks in Normandy, because that's usually the people that the weather passes last. But we try to work with that also. So,
Mr. Chairman, one question. The governor's budget has stated that he is going to put a Homeland Security agent in every county in the state. You are our designee for Homeland agent. Does that mean there's going to be another Homeland agent, or how will they handle it? Or have you heard anything about it yet?
I have not heard anything about that yet.
Okay.
I have not heard anything.
It's just proposed in the budget, so we'll have.
Right. I think I did see something on that, but I haven't heard any other information on that.
Will you keep us appraised on that? Because that's gonna, if they're gonna pay for it, that might help, but you know how that usually
All right.
goes.
Yes, sir. Will do. That's all I have.
I'd like to say as a teacher, thank you for your school visits, the one we had a week or two ago. Seemed like it went well, so.
Well, you can thank all the public sector, that's an involvement of all, police and fire
Yeah.
and schools. We have a representative from maintenance there.
Well, I couldn't see anyone. I was holed up, my door
Yeah.
closed, but
You're the-
whoever came out,
You're the one
thank you.
hiding,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah.
You the one hiding.
Yeah, I was hiding back there.
We do a pretty good job. We try to trick them, on a regular basis, with making announcements.
Yeah.
That it's not the way it's supposed to go. They know what their plan is. So, we do try to trick them. We've actually, caught some children in the hall. Brian's caught some children in the hall. We pulled them aside to see what their process is about notifying, hey, I don't have, one of my children, so, see how that works. So it's been a great plus. It's brought on great discussion about both public safety side, how we handle those things, and school stuff. How they're gonna look at things in the future also. Bringing ideas to the table with what we can do to make the children as safe as we can. So it has been, it's a good thing, and there's a lot of good that comes from it. Conversation always brings, and you take ideas from other places to other folks. That's why I like to go to exercises and tabletops and sit in on. We had after action from the nursing home, that we had evacuation on Christmas Eve. Had after action on that, and just learning points from them, listening to people talk out, and just by listening, you can figure out and learn a lot of stuff of how you can do things here, or in your own world. So it was really neat. But thank you.
Yeah.
And I'll elaborate just a little bit on some other programs that are going. We have a meeting at the Sheriff's Department tomorrow with SRO Tracy Harvey about doing a prom promise video. We stage an accident scene, use kids, and then they videotape it, and then they
Yeah.
try to get these kids to be conscious of drinking and driving and texting and stuff like that. She works very hard to, all the SROs do. So we're constantly doing programs like that to educate the kids before they hit the real world, you know.
Great.
There's a lot going on in the school system. Any further questions for EMA? All right, hearing none, juvenile detention? Oh, she's here. Yeah. Okay, but you do have a report in closed. Next will be the probation.
Wow, a new farm.
Yeah, I
Wow.
like this.
Look at that. Did you? Impressive.
It is, looks good.
Added a column to the left where to add just some flavor to it to let you get to know our staff. And then once I introduce everyone and any kind of news or anything that I want to report, I'll put there. But the rest is just the numbers.
Is this the new program you're using?
Yes, this is
Okay.
going to be the report we'll be receiving each month.
Looks really nice.
But I have nothing further to report.
Those are pretty staggering numbers when you look at the categories, huh?
One, sorry, Mr. Chairman, I have
Go
one
ahead.
quick question. So in regards to you have mentioned here 135 drug screens administered with 46 failures. Obviously, that's not good, right? But do you see that number, are you seeing that number on the rise, or is it stable? Is it,
It's pretty consistent. I have 4 officers, and we try to do at least 30 screens a month per officer.
Okay.
And some of these failures, and I'll just describe it. When they come in for their very first visit with us, it's usually within 2 weeks of their plea.
Yes, sir.
And if they fail for THC, there's nothing that we can do because they're 30 days within the plea date.
Yes, sir.
But any other drug that we can. So we do reflect those 46 failures of a first screen if they had THC. That is reflected in that 46. So we would write a violation on all 46. But I'd say probably around 30-ish of those numbers, failures, are where when they fail, we would violate their probation for it.
Okay. But again, you see that number is sort of even.
It stays right around the 50 mark. There are some months where it's a little higher than others.
Okay. Thank you for that answer. I appreciate it.
Any further questions for probation? Hearing none, that's all the reports that report to us. We'll need a motion to approve as presented.
Motion approved.
Second.
We have a motion and second. All in favor? Any opposed? I don't reckon there's any other reports. Any old business to come before the committee? New business, I think they've made mention of the zoning planning meeting and water conservation, and everybody's clear on those dates, I think. They said those were at 6 o'clock at the Ag Center, right?
Rec Center.
Rec Center.
Did you have rec center or ag center? Ag center
Rec
is the
center.
conservationist
I was
thing.
thinking
Yeah,
Ag.
yeah, like a mixed.
Yeah. Glad you stay on top of it. All right, I reckon that's it. We need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
call to order the Courthouse and Property Committee meeting, and Commissioner Thomas is going to lead us in prayer.
Let's pray. Dear Lord God, thank you for this day, the blessings you have given us. Thank you for the freedom to gather here together, Lord, to just meet peacefully, Lord. I pray you will be with this committee and this commission, Lord, and give us the wisdom to make the right decisions, Lord. Please guide us and just help us out, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.
Okay, everyone's here tonight. First thing on the agenda is the approval of the January 17th Courthouse and Property Committee minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? All opposed? Okay, next is zoning. Everybody has a copy of the report, I believe. Yeah, it's right here, it's the very first page. I don't think he's here, is he? Okay, any comments on zoning report before we go on?
Do we have any type of update of where they're at on planning for the new updates? Have we got a, just even kind of a synopsis of where y'all are at when it comes to the planning? The resolution, sorry.
Flag lots maybe with subdivision regs, which are approved by the planning commission, even though, you get copies of it. On the other part, I know Chris has written and written, so we meet next week, so I feel like we'll be good on that, and I think hopefully we'll meet every other week or so. Commissioner, it won't take us 6 months to get this done, that's the I think everybody's in consensus of what we need to do. It's just how to get there so that it's presentable and it's lasting.
Thank you.
Okay, IT.
So, just to add, I've got several things on here, we got a lot of projects going on, but I want to bring attention to, the second item on the report, which talks about our cybersecurity training. We do cybersecurity awareness training for all of our employees, well, for the employees that are using computers, that's what we've been doing. There's 276 licenses that we purchased through a company called Novi4. And so Novi4 is pretty well known, and what they do is they simulate phishing attacks, so employees can get an email that looks like it came from a specific vendor, but in reality, it's just us sending out a test email, and so what it does is it allows the user to respond, and so we can offer training to them based on their response. So if they clicked on the email or clicked on a link they weren't supposed to, instead of getting a ransomware infection or virus, they're going to get a training out of it, and we get notified so that we can respond accordingly. So what we did was, I was looking at ways that we could kind of get back some of that money, because we decided to take our education, we had some education money that was added to our budget a few years ago. And so what it was for was training, so if we wanted to go get some certifications, if we wanted to do continuing education training with the IT department, to advance our skill set, we could do that. Well, we decided to use that money that would be better allocated to offer training for everybody in the county as opposed to just 4 other IT people. So we did that. So what I want to do is try to figure out a way to claw back some of that money so we can reuse it for some of our training. We had $5,000 allocated for a budget. Well, I went this year, they sent the renewal form, it was going to cost us $6,000 to renew, so that's $1,000 over our budget, right? So that's not going to work. So I contacted the state of Tennessee to find out what they were using. Their vendor charged about $5,500 less. So we were able to not only increase the number of licenses to 420 as opposed to 276. That covers all of the employees in the county. Our cost, instead of $6,000 a year, we got that down to $546 per year. That covers every employee in the county. We're going to start doing that next month. Roll that project out. I went through the demo. It's great. It's fantastic. InfoSec IQ is the name of the product, and looks really similar, familiar to what we've been using it before. Any of the employees are going to be familiar with it. We still do the simulated phishing campaigns. We have metrics we can monitor and make adjustments if needed for their trainings. But that was pretty interesting to be able to save some money
wanted to just highlight that. But I'll take any questions you have. We have some moving going around, some upgrades on our network, different things, but we integrated cloud backups. A lot of our end users now are able to upload their basic files to the cloud as a backup. It's all automated. So we're doing some advanced stuff. Trying to improve the solid footprint. Any questions y'all have on that?
Appreciate that, Josh. Enjoy the saving that money. That's the main thing. You go from $6,548. That's a good job. Appreciate it.
He's always trying to save us money. That's great. Eric.
Hey, I appreciate that. So, quick question, so in regards to simulated phishing, that's always fun when one of those emails hit an organization. You try to let your folks know, hey, don't open that email, you're gonna get turned around. Is there anything that you guys are looking at in regards to spam filters? I know that that is a big issue with our email system, and that's kind of a threat in itself. Just curious.
So, in addition to what we currently do, we use spam assassin right now, and we have a definition-based spam filter that's built in our email system, and we're able to filter out, most of the emails. What we don't want to filter out is something that needed to get there and didn't arrive, like, I don't know, maybe minutes. Somebody was trying to send a commissioner. It's happened actually before, as you're aware. So we don't want the email to not get to its destination. So we can filter out most of the content, but this is just to make sure that the emails get where they want to go, but we're not missing, they're not clicking on the items that do come through that don't make the spam, that don't get filtered out by the spam. So in addition to what we have, not at the moment, but we do have something in place.
Thanks, sir.
Can I elaborate on this, John? Josh, my line just like one thing you
All right.
But he installed a box strapper of mine, and man, I'm telling you, it catches a lot of stuff. And then if somebody's looking to send me an email, I don't get it, that's the first place I check. But there's usually a couple of hundred in my box strapper every day. It's spam, possible spam. I think they even called him about one today.
Yeah,
Came
so,
from a certain commission.
yeah, so let me elaborate on that, because I normally don't talk about that. And the reason why is because I had trouble deploying it throughout the organization, because not everybody wants something that they're gonna have to go through the list and check off each individual email. So what we did was, we have something called an approved list policy. That's basically, if I don't want to receive anybody email from anyone, I could have a list of the only domains that I could receive emails from. So I could say, hey, I didn't want to receive anything from tn.gov, and all I wanted to receive was just bedfordcountytn.gov. I can create a list and just to say, hey, we only want to receive emails from this domain. It's a tool that's built into our system. It's called Box Trapper. And what it does is it doesn't allow anyone that's not on the approved list to send me an email. So if it's a Gmail customer, though, which is most constituents probably use Outlook or Live or Yahoo.com or Gmail.com, there's not a really good way to do that, because, I have several different private email addresses that I use, and so if I'm filtering out, if I'm only got a approved list, it wouldn't help people that are trying to get, anyone in the county to be able to email me. It's just an approved list. We don't know all the email addresses that are out there, so you're gonna miss a lot of that. But for the employees, it does help them, because we have built a large list of safe domains. And we have the ability to deploy it, especially for department administrators like Chief Thomas here, and myself. The IT department uses this tool, so we can filter it out, but it's just not the best solution for a commissioner who might want to hear from their constituents.
Anybody have any other questions for
Yeah,
Josh?
where are you at on after the flood in your office? How far along are you on rebuilding that?
So, thank you for asking that. Right now, we are in a mobile, we're set up, we have some, college has been gracious enough to let us use one of their suites. We set up a temporary location for our systems. They're not where they need to be, they're not how they need to be. However, the putback team has, they've
already started replacing drywall in our suite. They've started the painting process in our suite. We're not where we need to be on that yet. I understand that there's a process, and we're still able to do what we need to do. We don't have access to our tools that we normally have in our office, so that makes our job much more challenging. The projects that we had underway have kind of slowed down because we're not able to have the things we need readily at our hands. They're put back in a closet behind another office, and so we're waiting for the insurance company to come and get the items that we claimed as a loss. So that's where we are. I don't know what to anticipate as far as the time frame, but we're still able to maintain and push forward. Nothing's going to slow us down. We can be mobile.
Thank you for that. And so you're located in the same facility, just on the other end? Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, fire department?
You have a copy of my report now, anything to add to my report. It's been submitted to the each drafts, and we can do that, that's no problem. I like them, I just not gonna do any colors. If that's okay. But I would like to add to my report some things that are not on there that's developed since that report was mailed out. If you don't have any questions on my report.
Where are we at, like volunteer recruitment? Where are we at numbers wise out in the community?
You know, that's a moving, it's kind of like everybody's business, everybody else's business. It's a in and out the door all the time. Reported to NFPA, which is the National Association of Architects, was 158. That number kind of takes everybody that's in account, whether they're support personnel or actual, you know, go in and fight a fire. We people who don't do that and just operate trucks, so it's kind of all over the place. Of course, that number is down all across the United States.
Yeah, volunteerism in general, whether it's fire department or anything, is down.
You know, I read reports every day from fire engineering where they're looking for people in the Department of Forestry couldn't find the fund, you know, guys that fight forest fires, they couldn't get enough employees to do it, you know. So
I think that's a problem everywhere.
it is everywhere, whether you pay or not.
Okay,
Some other items I'd like to bring up, we have applied for a grant through the State Fire Marshal's Office. We were awarded the grant. They did not fully fund the piece of equipment that we were looking for, but they did give us $49,500 for it, and that's a air compressor. And when you see these firefighters, it's got the tank on their back. That's usually anywhere from 2,216 pounds of pressure in that cylinder, or 4,500 PSI is what we're using currently. And so this is a compressor that will fill those. And the one we have right now is 37 years old. It does not meet the standards, but we're grandfathered in and can still use it. Our plans is to move that to Station 2. As you know, right now the county we have to go around and get all the bottles, fill them up, and then take them back. So this will give us another location to stop that transportation of Belleville, I think, as one also. So we're still gonna, it will still meet the standards as far as the 1985 standards, I think. And as long as it's still in service, you can use it for if it ever blows up or gets a bad test, and it's got a big chunk. But the new ones are latest and greatest. They've got CO detectors. They induce the right amount of moisture because it's not just dry. A lot of people think it's oxygen. It's not. It's just purified air. And so we're going to be short a little bit of money. We're going to meet with the mayor and the finance office to see if we can get the rest of the funds to replace with an up-to-date model. So we'll have to build a room at our fire station to put it in. So
Will these,
we'll do that out of budget. So.
will these also fill the diving tanks?
Yes,
Okay.
it comes with that adapter, and it meets the same, what they call grade E air,
Okay.
which is the diver goes underwater, he's an puts enough moisture in there so it doesn't dry you out. So, right now, the bids are anywhere from about 52,000 to 70,000.
We're in the ballpark.
So and we can buy off contract.
Right.
This equipment's already out there, but we're trying to get the best one at the best price, but not just something to get by with, that just meets the
Makes
standard
sense.
at the minimum. We want something that's gonna carry us another 37 years.
That's a long time.
I don't build them like that anymore.
Exactly. Good luck with that.
Program, and it was funded this year or this budget year for another fire truck. We are getting very close to signing the contract on that. The money that was funded is a little bit short. We kind of figured it was. So we'll be talking about that as
Just because they're so expensive, is that what it is?
Yeah, I mean, today's market, it's whoever's got the most money is who gets the truck. And even if we sign the contract, we're probably still a year out. The body of it is built and set there. Their problem is getting the chassis and getting that price locked in, because Freightliner International, Mercedes, Mack, whoever, they're only pricing that truck as it rolls off the assembly line. So this company we're dealing with have made a big purchase, but they're not sure when the trucks are gonna hit their line.
Right.
So we're hoping we can get that contract nailed down. All we like is making sure that the graphics on the trucks, that's the door lettering and stuff, is not gonna push us further over budget into it. So I think we'll be okay, but we're not signing the dotted line until I get that confirmed dollar figure from the graphics department.
Yeah, EMS is having the same trouble finding chassis. I mean, you just can't find it anywhere.
And somebody had asked me, we're talking about a used one. The closest thing you can get to a new used truck is probably around a 2006 model. Because everybody's having the same problem, so they're having to hang on to the equipment longer. And this particular truck here will go to the Unionville station to replace the 1998 model truck. And then that'll give us one for reserve, and then we'll have another down in the Rover area. And we just went through our ISO grading, and they included the Rover area at the station. And this truck will help us get more points, so we can keep that grade low. We want low points. They figure 10 is high. I think we're some gonna be somewhere 5 or 6 on our grading schedule, which saves money back into the homeowner's insurance policy. That's how that system works. And then one other grant that we've applied for, that will be we'll have to figure into the finance budget next year. That's if we receive it, is the FEMA grant. And we've been trying for the past 5 years to replace air tanks that they wear on the back and the air compressor. So we took the air compressor out of that grant, just the air packs. We're still under the 1986 standard. There's been 3 standards since then that we're behind. So we're applying for that grant to replace all the air packs.
Is it still the Survive Airs? I used them
Now,
15 years
upgraded.
ago.
And if you remember, probably 2 years ago, Jackson got a grant and they gave us all their ones, the 45-minute units. So we went down there and loaded up truckloads of that stuff. They gave us all their old stuff. And it's hard to keep them going, but we're doing it. And then another part of the grant, there's 3 categories that you can apply for. One of us, another one we're looking at to replace all fire hoses on the fire trucks and nozzles. Right now, we currently use 1.5 inch hose, and we want to step up to 1 3/4 inch, which provides more water protection for the firefighter. So that will replace every piece of fire hose in the county on all of our trucks.
That's a FEMA grant?
Yes, sir.
That's about 100% grant, isn't it?
No, it's not 100%. I'm getting to that number. And then also.
We left that for last.
One thing that we've noticed in our county as it's growing, homes that are being built, a lot of times they're bigger, they're harder to get to, applied for what they call a quick attack fire truck. It's a small truck, but it has a big pump on it and a hose bed, so we can lay out down the driveway. We've got a few homes in the county that we can't get a fire truck to. Sort of a pickup. You know, in this, there's some that they can't even get damaged, so we have to go buy a pickup to get them. Depending on what the weather is, if you can do that, you know. So they're making a small truck, a big fire truck equipment on it, and that's about a $300,000 truck. And a lot of cities and counties and stuff are going to that because they can't get to the homes that are being built. And if you have a real famous country music star that lives in your hometown, buying some of them, but we don't have these. But anyway, if we were to receive all of these grants, the county's cost would be about $127,000, which is not bad for a $1.2 million grant. And we may get one of them, we may get two of them, we may get all three of them, we may not get any. Past 5 years, we've not had any luck on the air tax. We basically, to the point, if we don't get them, then we're probably gonna have to look at a lease purchase program, because that is the lifeline of the firefighter going in the house, or we want to stay outside and spray water. $127,000, that's it. And the finance committee, we tell them that every year, and they, I don't know what you do, but they know it's there. And we could, if we were to receive that grant, we're not gonna turn it down, $1 million worth of equipment.
Right.
So they have worked that out. But that's all I have, unless y'all have any questions about those items.
Do y'all have any questions? Anyone? Okay. 911, everybody has their report, and there's also a financial statement also to show your current finances. Does anybody have any questions or comments on that? Okay, GIS.
I have my written report, I have, other things, I have one particular part of it that you'll see at the I have developed a little handout, a citizen's guide. We had them in the rack downstairs, but because of some, anyway, we had a little glitch, and I had to go and get the ones out of the rack downstairs to bring up here just now. But this is a little piece that I have developed. It's got, you can see it's got, what is sort of an outline of what county government does, pictures of all of you and the other elected officials, information about how citizens can participate and find out what's going on, information about the county's financial management, and some contact information. And this is something that we looked at getting it printed, and it was going to cost more than we thought it was going to. So April and Suzanne have been producing these on the copy machine downstairs and doing a wonderful job. They look professional. They look like it.
That's great.
Anyway, we hope this will be something useful. If you have a specific need for a few of these, then I guess contact the mayor's office and see what we can do. But anyway, again, it's
John,
something
have you
that's...
put it on the website?
Yes, I've already got it set up. I think I've just got to take it live. I think I've already got it set up on the website. And it also, the QR code, people can use this to get to the website for other things by using the QR code. But yes, we will have it on the website.
That's awesome.
It is awesome.
Looks
Thank
very
you.
beneficial. A lot of people have questions about the different services in
That's
here.
what I was
So
trying to kind of get into the head of what, what people might want to know, or what they might not know, or what they might be confused about.
I think that's great.
That was the approach I was trying to take when I was writing the 3 big kind of essay pages.
I know this would be an expensive thing to do, but maybe at some point it could be shared with all the schools and be sent home with the children, you know, for their families. Because I know that, you know, that would be a good way to get it out to people in the county.
Like I say, it was
Just a
too
thought.
expensive to get a whole lot of them printed right
Right.
now, but, you know, in the future, we could, you know, maybe get them so that we can have them at the county offices and places,
Yeah.
you know, places like that.
Well, being on the website is a huge plus too.
Just connecting where the districts are for the people who know it. I don't know a lot of people. who know
Right,
where the
right,
districts
and I
are.
thought about that, I actually did think about that when I was doing this, it was just so hard to kind of get everything in. You know,
This is awesome.
Well, I was, that's what I was trying to figure out, what I could squeeze in and what I couldn't, and I thought about trying to do a little map or something, but I did say, I think I did say somewhere to look at your voter registration card, and would say what district you're in. I think that is in there somewhere.
Great. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, thank you. Okay, codes?
So, building permit, that picked up considerably this month, in January. A little bit of a lull in December, so I was wondering, if been asking, is, home building going down, it's not, picked up a lot. And we're still chugging along and trying to get our new software up and running, which will bring us a little bit more modernized permits. That's a slow process. We meet weekly with the developer, and we're doing some testing, and we had some setbacks. They changed our head person out there that oversees it all, and that seems to be like almost like that person has to relearn everything we taught the other person about our old program, so they can help implement the new program. But that's hopefully going to be moving forward. It's not uncommon for it to take a very long time from neighboring counties and talking about their changeover process to more modern time.
Awesome. Thank you. That's a great report. Does anybody have any questions for codes? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve all the reports.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, as far as old business, the first thing was the committee meeting space. I talked to the mayor about this today. He was out of town, but we spoke briefly. And he has several plans he's working on right now. He's even looking at putting like a TV out in the area to try to, if we have overflow, and he's looking at different ways we can do that, and then gonna bring it back to us probably by next month. But he's got several plans he's working on to try to make the committee meeting space better, to where it can accommodate more people when needed. As far as county property listing, don't make fun of me. She's gonna kill me when I tell her this. I attached the wrong file. So I gave him the wrong file the other night, missed it a couple months ago, and then now I've attached the wrong file. I can't seem to get it right, but I promise you, I will email it tomorrow. I've just had a lot on my plate, and I guess one was on my jump drive, one was on my computer, and I attached the wrong one. So I'm so sorry, that's my fault. I will correct that and send it out. The biggest thing that had been done, though, is Rhonda's office had went out and separated the Old Harris Middle School and the field house from the alternative school, and they made a different tax card for it. So they have a copy of that tax card tonight. But I'll get all that to you all. It's just my mistake. Another thing that's a new business. Does anybody have any other old business before I move on? Okay. As far as new business, probation has been asking the mayor about the drive-through bank that we still own but no one uses. And the reason they're wanting to look at that is because of the collections. It's a way for somebody just to drive through and pay their fees. And so he felt like that would be real beneficial. They've already had Daniel Kleindennis to go over and look at the HVAC system and the toileting. And really, it's just all cleanup. There's not going to be anything that has to be done really except for cleanup. They said they may have to paint and some things like that. But no, they said that they've got it all figured out. They've got a plan. And they're supposed to be telling us more details as they get that plan together, but I just wanted to make y'all aware.
Where's that location?
It's the drive-through bank behind the courthouse annex.
Okay.
Madam Chairman, the city has a plan in place for the redevelopment of that whole area down
Right.
there.
I think that was a short-term fix. I don't think he's planning on it for long-term. I mean, they are aware of that.
I would like to add that we haven't had, the IT department has not had an opportunity to evaluate that
Yeah.
as a viable, spot
Right.
for connectivity back to our main network, which will involve some network improvements and costs. We haven't been able to evaluate that and assess that yet. So
Okay. Yeah, I know that it's still all in the, they're just looking at it still.
I think, Josh, that Shuttle Fire cut that line down because it was sagging and a truck could hit it, and they just took the network line down. And it may be laying on top of that.
Get on that, Josh.
Great.
Another
problem.
Yeah.
We're gonna add anything. And wireless too, but it is, there are some, so there are, when we look at the cost of connecting and building, what we have to do is account for how many network devices are gonna be on site. That usually involves a switch. Switches range from $2,000 to $4,000 a piece. They would be connected back to another location by wireless bridge, that's $500 minimum for a wireless bridge. Not including the wiring, which we have to look at installing some new cabling, and also the man hours associated with that. So there is some cost, and when we say we just want to use a building, electrical and maintenance, they have their own piece of that, but IT is equally involved with the infrastructure part. So
I know he discussed getting in contact with you about that, but it's just, they haven't got to that point yet, I don't think. I think they're trying to clean it up first and then seeing what they can do with it, and then, I just want everybody to be aware that they've started the conversation, so. Let's see, anybody have any other new business?
Yeah, Mr. Chair. So after our last meeting is when we surplus the old jail.
Correct.
Went to the commission and was therefore approved. I did have some questions during the commission meeting about would that come back to us and different processes, and so I reached out to Robert Daniel, and I just wanted to clarify kind of where we're at with that. If it does not cost significant amounts to demolish that, we will not see it again. And so what we heard during the commission is not the process that'll happen. It's actually now in Robert Daniel's hands, and he will handle that process from here moving forward. The only time it will come back to any of the commission body will be during the budget process if it costs significant amounts to demolish it. So I just wanted to clarify that, because I think we were told one thing during the commission, and I think it ended up being a little bit different. So I just wanted to clarify
Yeah,
that.
I mean, we've surplus to other properties too, and it's done the same way, it goes
Well,
back to finance.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
not familiar with the process. That was the first time we had done that surplus, and I just wanted to clarify that
But-
what was said was not what ended up being, so.
The bids that they get out, like if they get bids for demolishing or whatever, I mean, they're gonna, if it's above a certain amount, it'll come back to us. And I forgot what the dollar amount is, I'm sorry, I can't remember off the top of my head.
That's gonna be an expensive
It's gonna be very expensive,
Most
so it will
definitely.
come back to us. Yeah, because there's asbestos and everything.
But it was declared surplus.
Yes,
Right.
it's surplus.
But we had to have a surplus
Before
In
you
order to
can
do
make any
anything with
steps.
it.
Right.
Okay. Any other new business?
quick question, maybe I'm barking up the wrong tree, but I'm gonna try this one first. So, it was brought up at one of the most recent meetings about the trash and the dumping on the side of roads. So, I know that's still an issue. Matter of fact, coincidentally, unfortunately, I've even received calls just this past week in regards to dumping. Everybody calls the county commissioner first, which is fine, right? That's what we're here to serve, so. But we also want to make sure that we're serving the folks with the best knowledge we can give them and the best service we can give them. Long story short, I know that I mentioned it, in a recent meeting that we could possibly look at the operating hours at the convenience centers, and maybe reevaluate them.
I don't think that has anything to do with them dumping.
Yeah, I know.
Because
but-
we've had that even, we've increased our hours and they're still doing it. I think that's an ongoing issue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Solid waste, and I would also talk to Mark Clanton too.
But we also had a huge tire chipping day, where we bring the tires in, we take them for free, we waste, we have all these things, we're trying so hard. Commissioner Neely made the point, and it's a good point, is it doesn't matter, it's trash. We
That's
gotta figure
right.
out a way to
That's right.
figure it out. I don't know what else to do.
Well, I think that, I mean, unfortunately, I think that if, I mean, there's no excuse for dumping. There's none, right? But, and I feel like that unfortunately, those of us that don't have the same ethics as others, if the convenience center's closed, they're just gonna say, okay, well, I'm gonna dump it on the side of the road. So, that's not right. But if that convenience center was open, then they would have that opportunity to use that convenience center. So, I mean, and here's the thing too, right? So let's just dive off the deep end here. So, you know, I've had the opportunity, I actually did a little poll on my own, I've talked to a lot of constituents, and there are a lot of folks that are a little bit upset that the hours are what they are, right? We can't keep it open 24 hours a day, that's a fact. Right? But, and, you know, is there something else, I mean, so is that the final answer, the hours are what they are, we're not gonna evaluate it?
We just changed them, like, what was it, 2 years ago? We had a big, huge meeting, and we did we redid that, we had a meeting with Mark and with Diane Forbes, and we redid, like, we talked about what we could do to improve things, and like they're saying, we already increased our hours, and I know we're open more, aren't we open longer than Rutherford County, I believe, so. And another problem we ran into when we were researching it is that most of our employees were paid part-time, wasn't that correct? And so if we would have to pay overtime, and we had to give them benefits, and so it was gonna increase the cost for the county quite significantly.
Plus, we have the compactors, and you have to have a,
Right.
unless we buy additional compactors, you have to have a day off and then bring the compactors in there and change those out, so.
But that would be a good question you can ask at finance whenever, whenever Mark and Diane are there.
So, just for the record, does this committee handle that, yes or no?
No,
Okay,
I don't
that's-
think so.
that's all I
That's
need to
solid
probably
waste.
ask. All right, thank you.
Only thing I'd like to add to Eric's, is everybody's frustration too,
Yeah.
is it happens at night. I
It
mean, it
does.
happens on Saturday, I think that it's planned, Saturday night from 10 to 2.
The bell goes off
And
somewhere.
somewhere,
Yeah.
you know, the bell rings and everybody does. Because on my road, we get more county people coming over, into the county. And I would say, in the Wheel area, you're getting Marshall County people coming over, and Coffee County people come over into our area, and it's all done at night. So the frustration is, unless you're gonna keep them open 24 hours a day,
Right,
7
it's gonna
days a
happen.
week, and I doubt even then they'll go there. I'm gonna say, Eric, more than half of it is out of county.
I do think it's a good idea, though, like you said earlier, to provide a list of the locations that we know is a hot spot and give it to the workhouse, because I'm sure they would be willing to help us.
Yeah, I mean, now that I know I was barking up the wrong tree, there you go, I apologize. But, I mean, my thought process is, it's just, I mean, in all the years I've lived here, this is the worst I've seen, I'm just gonna be honest with you. And then, you know, secondly, more and more people move to Bedford County every day. So, as we grow, so do our services have to grow, right? And, you know, I wanna make sure that we keep it as a priority, as commissioners. I wanna make sure we keep it as a priority because, you know, the constituents want to make sure that they live in a clean area, and I think we ought to provide them with an area to dump their, to properly dispose of their
I think if
trash.
it's county property, we most definitely should be responsible for picking it up and cleaning it up, but if it's a personal if it's personal property, that's gonna be up to the personal property owners too, and, it might be good to encourage those people to put up cameras and things like that for safety in their area too.
And they have the citizens actively involved.
Yeah.
I mean, I sat down at the bridge from my house one night from after 11, and I caught the little one.
Yeah.
And I took a picture of their license plate, and I called them up. Okay, so,
Whatever.
Citizens can do a whole bunch too. If somebody's jumping on, like you were talking about Fly Road out there, and it were my property, I don't think I'd be camping out there.
Oh, I agree. And
It takes everybody.
one of the calls I got was from Commissioner Biggs, one of his neighbors, that they were out picking up the trash, And I know they probably called you too, right?
Let's do a camp out one night.
Yeah, and take pictures and
Okay,
stuff like that.
Commissioner Neely?
Okay, well, the one thing I was gonna say, when you talk about the convenience hours, one thing I do see, like this year, the way Christmas has been falling, we're really closed too many days during that holiday. Because everybody passes my house going to the dump, and I get most of it in the yard because it blows off the truck, because I get it going and I get it coming because the dump is closed. And then when they turn the road that goes down beside our property, a lot of times they just stop and kick it out. So that would be one area that I would like to see us look at, is around those holidays. I know that they tried to take those employees and put their holidays with the same holidays that all the county employees got, but we may have to adjust that. That would be one thing.
So, I mean, all right, so let me ask, now that we're kind of opened up for more, who do I need to go to evaluate these hours?
Go to the finance
You have-
department and talk to the waste.
Finance and waste, Mark Clanton, Diane Forbes.
Commissioner Pinson, did you have something?
I have always said we need a program. Trash pride, personal responsibility, and daily effort.
Well, I remember as a kid seeing that commercial that always came on, Tennessee
Tennessee
Trash.
Trash.
Well, I mean, sometimes
Yeah.
you can't.
You remember?
Yeah. Well, and we used to adopt the highways and stuff, but we don't do that anymore.
No, I know it's an issue. I mean, it's something we all are concerned about, I think. Okay, does anybody have any other announcements, new business, anything? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.